And good morning and welcome to Touch Base Daily. My name is Ron Foster and touching base with you as we do all the day, all the time, every day, except for Sunday. And so glad to see everybody. Let me just see if I can get this screen right. Perfect, perfect. And we are here. I got up early this morning. I had a photo shoot this morning. Let me get this straight. Oh, let me go that way. Yeah, okay, there we go. I had a photo shoot this morning, and I'm so excited. I got to photograph this amazing actor slash model, and so I can't wait to share some of those photos. He says, "Yeah, we're gonna share some of these photos." So I'm excited about that. Can you all hear me? I hope you guys are all here. I see that I am live on my YouTube channel. And what's going on in Instagram? I see Instagram is in the room. Come on over to YouTube. Yes, we're giving Instagram another try today. Hopefully, we won't be kicked off. Good morning, Diva, to the Max, Terrell, Shedrick Photography. I see Pastitua. Am I saying it right? I hope I'm saying it right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes, yeah. Cross over to our YouTube channel. You can go over by clicking on Ron Lewis Photos in YouTube, or you can go with Touch Base Daily. Touch Base Daily on YouTube. That's where we live. We're slowly weeding ourselves off of Instagram, but we'll be here sometimes, right? Like today, I said, let's give Instagram another try. Even though Instagram disappointed last week and on most of the weekend. So for the last 2 days, I was not here. I was on YouTube. So all the way. So if you guys are around, come on over to YouTube. That's where we are. This is where we hang out. You get a better experience. You see us in a big screen, and you can do your work. Hey, Lisa's in the building. Hey, Lisa. Lisa's in the building. Lisa, I made an order last night. Anyway, I'm so excited. I ordered one of Lisa's wonderful cups, a big black cup, and I'm so excited. Cannot wait to get it. And but yes, she sells her merchandise on her Hello Healing platform. Check out Lisa's amazing merchandise. But I am so glad I already have this cup, but now I'm gonna have a big black cup. And it makes the water taste better. Thank you, Lisa. Good morning. Good morning. I see Miss G is in the building. Miss G, I hope you got some rest. I hope you got some rest, Miss G. And Chrissy is in the building. Chrissy is in the building. Good morning. She said, you are much better than me, Ron. When I'm done, I'm done. Straight Virgo behavior. Yes, I know. I know. Once you cut someone off, I never want to be on that side of the what do you call it, of the strip where you cut it and then it just falls to the ground in weightlessness. Oh man, yes, you are definitely one to cut us off if we do something bad. But so far, so good. It's been 20, almost. It's been a long time, almost 20 years of work marriage, and you had never had to divorce me and cut me off. That's a good thing, Miss G. And so, what is in the news this morning? There's a lot going on in the world today, but there's definitely some stuff in the news that I wanted to bring to your attention. First of all, it is Thankful Thursday, and we are about being thankful, right? We are about being thankful. I know most of us are thankful every day, but Thursday is the time of the week that we give thanks. It's like Thanksgiving every week, right? Thanksgiving every week. And so what's going on in the news this morning? Supreme Court hears oral arguments on Trump ballot case. Guys, stay tuned to this. This is something that is going to really affect you if it goes the wrong way. If it goes the wrong way, this is so important that you know what's going on in the Supreme Court. And what's really interesting, if you go on to YouTube, Associated Press, you can actually hear the Supreme Court hearing. You can hear it live. Now, I know we're on together right now, but after you get off with me, go on to the Supreme Court link in YouTube. There's in YouTube, just click in Supreme Court arguments for the Trump case today, Trump ballot case, and you can hear it. Now I know I'm a big nerd. I'm a political nerd, and politics really gets me excited. And I know I like sitting in on Supreme Court hearings. I know nothing better to do at my time of day, but it's usually nice to listen to while I'm working. Oh, let's see what's going on Instagram again. Omar is in Instagram. Omar, come on over to YouTube. He says, good morning to all who are stuck in Instagram. Sherry's in it. Sherry, where have you been? I was going to send a text out to you this Monday, and I should have done it, but I did not do it because it was late. Yeah, I just wanted to just check up on you. I had not seen you on in a while, so I was like, where's Sherry? Where's she? I know she's in love. I know Miss Tiffany is in love. Did you get married? Have you already gotten married? Did you get married and now you're on your honeymoon, or you were on your honeymoon? I would like to know. Oh, Dr. Tachi, I sent it to your email. The email that you send us stuff through, I sent a link to you on the email. So check that out, Dr. Tachi. And Shirley's in the building. So folks, come on over to YouTube. You know our song, come on over, baby. Come on over. Come on over to YouTube. That's where we live. That's our main platform. Instagram is now secondary. Ooh, did I say that? Oh, I probably shouldn't have said that. The Instagram gods are not going to be happy with me. They're not going to be happy with me. Hannah's in the building. She says, good morning. Good morning. So come on over to our YouTube channel. Just go Touch Base Daily. Now, I know y'all tired of me saying this over and over again, but again, unless I say it, you won't know where we are. Because there were some people saying, where's Ron? It's 11:15. He didn't come on. I was on YouTube. so come on over to YouTube. Okay, what else is in this little chat? What are you guys also chatting about in here? Elise is in the building. What's going on, Elise? Elise says, hello, Ron. Yes. And Miss G says, I'm thankful for my solopreneur communities and colleagues. What are you thankful for, people? What are you thankful for? That's a good one. I have to say, I double that. I double what Gwendolyn has today. She says she's thankful for her solopreneurs, which I happen to be one of them. Yes. And I am thankful for other solopreneurs in the building. Let me see if the link still didn't go out to you, my dear. Let me send it again. Hold on. Let me see if I can send that link to you again. I'm pasting and I'm sending it to Tachiata at GU. I shouldn't tell what your email is, right? Sorry. Let me just send it out. It says sent. Check your spam. It may have gone to spam, but it did go out. I'm sending it out. I sent it out 3 times this morning. Okay. Anyway. Okay. Let's end that. Let's close that off. Okay. And let's see who's it. Oh, Bryce is in the building. What's going on, Bry? Bry is in the building. He says, what's up, RLP family? What's up, CQ fam? And good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Ron with vocals. Diva to the max. You know how we roll. You know how we roll. There's my Dr. Tachi. So we're gonna bring Dr. Tachi in because she is filling in for Chris today. Once she gets herself situated, I'm gonna pull her in. Okay, so guys, the Supreme Court is meeting today. The Supreme Court is live right now. Dr. Tachi, I think we're ready. We're ready to bring her on. Yep, here she comes.
What's up? Yeah, so excuse the menu on the screen. I touched it, so it came back on. It will go off in a minute.
Oh,
So.
that's okay. Yeah, we can't really see it. We can't really see you. Welcome, my co-host for today, Dr. Tachi. She's filling in for Chris. Chris Edwards is on assignment this morning and on his way to go on assignment, but he's going to be away for today and tomorrow. So we have Dr. Tachi today. And
Yes.
hopefully we'll have a lease tomorrow. She hasn't given me the yes yet.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's
I'm
a
trying to
good one.
pull a leads in here to coach to be my co-host tomorrow. We'll see. This is how we do it. I just call you out.
We need Miss Elise because she'll get you right politically.
Yes,
So
he will get us right. But so, Dr. Tachi, I mean, you are in the news, and what made me think of you today was a discussion you put out yesterday. But we're going to talk about that in a moment, later.
okay.
But the Supreme Court today, the Supreme Court is doing hearings today on the Colorado case, which says Trump cannot be on the ballot. And so, what happens in this court decision by the Supreme Court will determine if all the states can take Trump off the ballot, especially the ones that don't like him.
That would do my heart good
Yeah.
because it seems like what's happening is that when people have any type of misgivings, whether it's social or political, there is never any recourse. There is never any punishment for any of those things. And so what it does is it encourages other people to misbehave as well. So I
Yeah.
think this actually will set some sort of precedent, if you will, in the fact that you cannot just behave anyhow you like and still get the rewards and the spoils of running for office, of holding certain things, of continuing to, I mean, really, this man should still not be in real estate the way he is.
He
So
should be in jail, but that's another story.
that's another story. Exactly.
Woo.
But it needs to happen. These things need to happen because people need to know in a democratic society you cannot behave anyhow you want and still get rewarded. So I think that needs to
Absolutely.
happen.
Well, like I said, if you are interested in hearing the Supreme Court today, it is live on YouTube. It is live on Associated Press. I have my screen up because I do listen to Associated Press every day, and which I'm going to share something about Associated Press that I think you photography lovers are going to like very much, or probably love. Something that you probably did not know about Associated Press. Yeah, so the Supreme Court. Yeah, we are definitely monitoring that and see what happens, but definitely stay in tune because it will change the course of what this country looks like. We're beginning to see our country either shape in the, where is it going to go? We don't know. It's in the hands of the Supreme Court, this one.
Absolutely. If not, get your passports in order, people. Anyway.
Because I tell people all the time, everyone should have a passport. I tell people all the time. Why? Because I will never forget when I was on Wall Street, when I was working at the stock exchange, and I was working with the two Jewish brothers called Hesh and Haimi. Yes, that was their name. Hesh was the brother, and Haimi was the other brother. Now, I know that sounds like a joke, but that is not a joke. And however, Hesh pulled me to the side one day and said to me, I hope you have your passport. And that was like out of the blue. I'm like probably 20 years old at that time, maybe 21. And we were talking about having a passport. He says, you need your passport because you never know when you might have to leave America. And I was like, now this is in 1986 or 87. Like this is years ago. And it was beyond my imagination that I would probably need a passport to leave the country because we could become refugees. Who knows?
Right.
Anything's possible in America these days. It was far-fetched, but now it's not far-fetched. I mean, I'm glad I got my passport because it helped me to travel the world and get to see Europe, got to go, see Africa, got to see Canada. Still haven't gone to Asia, still haven't gone to South America, but they're on my list. But it's interesting. But he says we are taught. He was telling about his Jewish heritage. His parents taught him that they should have not just one passport, but several passports, dual citizenships in countries, like become a citizen in another country, because you never know when America could go awry. And the reason why he said this is because he was a descendant of a Holocaust survivor.
Wow.
So this is why he thought this way. This is why his family groomed him to think that way. Look, you cannot put all your eggs in one basket. So anyway,
Absolutely.
makes sense.
And the thing is too, also the teaching is wherever they settle is home. That's
Yeah,
basically what they're taught. So when you're so tied, and there's nothing wrong to being tied to some place, but I think the overwhelming amount, or the overwhelming majority of people that live here don't think there's any place else. And then when you have this we are the best mentality and there's no place else, you don't see a place for yourself anywhere
yeah,
else in the world. And you are really supposed to be and behave as a global citizen.
yeah.
That's in terms of being able to go anywhere, but also in terms of being able to share space with people
Hmm.
collectively.
Yeah.
So that's where that came from. The fact that they're like, well, wherever we settle is home.
I love that, and I mean, it's true. I see here. Speaking of what you were saying, Dr. Tachi, G says there must be consequences and
In the
repercussions.
in the words of Cat Williams on Club Shay Shay, you got to tell him no. You
Yeah.
got to tell him no. So
And then Lisa says, I think I heard there are 32 states trying to get dumped off the ballot. Is that true? I do. I 32 might be right. 32 might be right because that leaves about what is that, 18, and those are mostly southern states and the Dakotas and that section, Dakotas, North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming, and Montana. Yeah, and some of the southern states. So yeah, that sounds correct.
it's yeah,
Okay. Nice. I see it here. You guys are chiming in. You guys are awake. Wakey, wakey.
everybody's awake.
That's right.
Everybody's awake. Can I say something
Yes, my friend.
about that? I think the good thing about that is that when we hear these things on social media, whether it's political things or social things or whatever, we think because we see so many comments relating to the same thing or things that we may be against, that there are a lot of people that think this way. And
That's
while
right.
there are people that think this way, I would like to think the majority do not. They're just too scared to act or
True.
complacent.
True.
And so, the fact that if it is actually 32, remember, unfortunately or fortunately, states' rights override federal rights in a lot of cases. And so, what we're seeing then is the states actually doing something that they're supposed to do in the first place and speak up about
Yeah.
these things when you see threats to democracy. So, if that is a correct number, that's a good thing.
That is, my dear. That is. I mean, if we could get more people to stand up, because the Trump people are crazy, and don't and I just want to say also, don't believe the hype about that. I mean, yes, we know his followers are out there. We know that but they bark the lot. What do you call it? They bark the loudest. So it appears that they're bigger than what they are. And I cannot help, and maybe I am cynical, but I still have hope for Americans, that there are a lot of folks that are still like, yo, I don't like Trump. I don't like his personality. I don't like what he does. However, the Main Street politicians, they're the fools. I don't think most of the country thinks like the politicians that are, for instance, the border. The Republicans have been trying to get the border solved, the border solution. And it's been 40 years they've been working on this thing. And they've been getting it, losing it, getting it. And then they can't say that the Democrats had not yielded in this case, because they're saying, look, we're with you. We're giving you everything you want. And then because Trump says, I don't want it because he wants that footage of, and they always use it. Always remember, you don't see anything about the migration of people or immigrants or asylum seekers. You don't ever see it unless it is election year or the 6 months leading into election year. After
Right.
election, you don't hear nothing else about it because the Republicans use it
Right.
every year, and that's why they don't want to solve it. They make like they want to solve it because we know they make like it because when they had the House, the Senate, and they had when they had the Congress. Let me just put it there: Congress, the Senate, and the presidency with Trump. They did nothing. They did nothing, and they had all three branches, and they could have done something when they had control.
All of this is theater, okay?
Theater,
This is complete theater.
all theater.
So all you have to do is look at the facts. So two things. Number one, you're absolutely right. During an election year, that's the time that you want to bring these things that will help you because there is the unfounded fear that people are coming and taking jobs. And so
Yeah.
you exacerbate that whole thing with the immigration to make that in your favor. Number two, on top of that, they don't want to solve it because, well, look who the overwhelming majority of migrant workers that are doing things like picking fruit, etc., are. Are these the jobs you were fighting for to have?
Exactly. They're
Is
not fighting.
that what you were fighting for? So you don't want to solve it then. Number three,
Right.
years ago, when I was part of the Dow Jones multi-journalism boot camp, I got a fellowship. And so I spent a week at UTEP, which is the University of Texas at El Paso. And one of our stories was actually we had to cover I don't know if you know this, but we get a lot of our beef from Mexico. And so they don't, if you put cattle in a trailer, they get stressed and they lose weight. So what they do is they walk them across the border. So we covered a story in New Mexico because New Mexico is right there. So about how they walk the cattle over the border, and it
Wow.
was so exciting because the cattle come in and they're stampeding, and I got all this
Yes.
great footage. It was amazing, and so
Oh.
it was fantastic. So we were talking to the man who runs the place, and I know
Mhm.
he's of Mexican descent. So we just were kind of talking, and then we were like talking about the whole war on drugs thing because obviously that's a hotbed. El Paso is right next to Juarez, and so that was like a whole. And the border was basically more open before
Mhm.
the drug thing started heating up. So we asked what the issue is, and he said, "Okay, I'm going to say this. It's profitable, so it continues." We said, all right, you said it, we didn't. So it shows they don't want to
They
solve some
don't
of
want
these
to
things
solve the
because there is
problem.
profit. Yeah.
It's profit. There's other people they always say for every loser there's a winner. Always remember that. When the stock market goes down, like you say, "Oh wow, there's a lot of people losing today, losing money because the market's down." Not so. Not everyone's losing money. There are some people that are making money as the market goes down. So always remember, not everyone is on the same side of the issue. There are different people that are on different sides of the issues at different rates. But the people don't understand. The Republicans don't understand, and maybe they do understand, but they want to fight against the reality is that America is aging. Hello? Someone say America is aging. We have baby boomers like myself. I'm the end of the baby boomers. We are aging. We have an aging population.
Mhm.
What makes America different from other countries is our immigration and allowing people into the country because we get new blood, new people to work and create money for Social Security. You need people, lots of them, to support the masses of the seniors that are aging. So again, you are solving many problems by allowing these immigrants into the country because we need them. We need them on the farms. We need them. We need them in stores. We need them in this. I want to make sure I clarify that statement about farms and like low waging jobs. Mm-mm. Don't ever think immigrants are just here for the low wage jobs. Many
No.
people who are migrating from Venezuela, El Salvador, Africa, the Caribbean, Some of these people have doctors. They are doctors, they are lawyers, they are accountants, they are bankers, they have professional jobs, but because their societies have fallen, they're seeking to do that work here in America. They are doctors and we need them. They are nurses, we need them. They are teachers, we need them. People forget COVID was just right. We just had COVID. How many people did we lose to COVID? And I'm still losing some today. More than 1 million people died of COVID. I think we need about 1 million new people to replace them. Just saying.
And here's the thing. I think we also have to look at, and this is a bigger picture, but we also have to look at the role that the West has in causing the instability in many of
Yes.
these countries. Okay,
Yes.
so it doesn't exist in a bubble. There's a reason. All you have to do, and I don't know if you saw the other day, was it in Congo, or I think it was in Congo. Well, they've discovered new copper reserves, and I was like, this was actually, I think it was it reported on AP, and all I'm
Wow.
like, I can already see what the comments are saying. So
Oh
I'm
yeah.
like, here we go. Here
Oh
we
yeah.
go. They're not going to get any of the money from it. So the whole thing is, the way that you get the resources you want from places is you destabilize
Yeah.
governments, you destabilize economies, and that makes people give you their resources for darn near free. And so we
Well.
also have to look at the role that Western countries have in
Oh
destabilizing these
yeah.
places. So, but that's
I mean,
just my opinion.
well, that's the theory behind the pirates that are down in off Madagascar, at the southern part of
Mhm.
Africa, on I should say East Africa, is because they used to fish, but they can't fish any longer because of climate change, and also the pollution that's in the water, and also because people have been killing off the fish. Like the big corporate people are killing the, I should say, taking the fish
Exactly.
in the ships. So now the people on the coast that are living in tribes, and they go out and they fish every day in their small boats, and they bring back the fish to their communities, and they sell that fish to their community. They can't do it any longer. So that's why they're resorting to being pirates, because they don't have the resources to eat. So now they become pirates. And again, it's because of the West and the more, as you want to call it, quote unquote, modern countries. But there is always a reason why someone, and when I say it's quiet with a thought, there's always a reason why someone commits a crime in what we think is a crime.
Mhm.
Sometimes they do it because they have no other choice. It's like someone said, "Well, why did that man steal that piece of bread off the wagon?" He's probably hungry.
Exactly.
And should he
Exactly.
be a
And it's
criminal because he's hungry? That's something to think about.
exactly. And it's like what we say in communication, that you don't know, because this is actually a form of communication. You don't know where that interaction started and
Yes.
where it ends, because it's cyclical. So
Yes.
this happens because of this, and then
Yes.
that happens because of that. So you don't know where that communication started, but
Mm,
everybody wants to start in the middle and say, well, those people are just inherently bad people,
that's
or
right.
are unfit to rule. But what did you do that caused the situation? Nobody ever
Yeah.
sees themselves as part of the problem. So that's what we have to start to resolve
Woo! That was this. We could talk about this subject all day. This is a real
all
one of those
day.
subjects, because there's so much that goes on in that in that topic. Is that there's so, like you're saying, there's a circle, there's an ecosystem of why things are happening in the world,
Yes.
and that's why it's so important. I know critical thinking is getting a bad name, because of people that are ignorant, and that want people, and then those that want people to stay ignorant. Critical thinking is so important. We have to be able to draw the lines and to bring the lines together. Say, why does A and B? What's happening in A? B? Let's see the solution in C, or what's causing C? Let's trace it back to A and B. We got to be critical thinkers. Okay.
But critical
Any,
thinking doesn't pay. I'm sorry.
but no, hey,
This is the
go.
last thing I'll say.
No,
Critical
go
thinking
for it.
doesn't pay.
You're
And
co-host today. You're co-host.
yeah, okay. So I can say what I like. But critical thinking doesn't pay. There's a reason why. Okay, so schooling, even though I have 3 degrees myself, I have critical thinking enough awareness to know that school does not foster. They're supposed to teach you critical thinking, but that
Yeah,
doesn't always happen. Why do you think there's been the implementation of things like standardized testing, etc.?
true,
Now,
true.
you do need a way to determine if someone is where they should be, but standardized testing doesn't generally work because no one is standard. If we were, then it would be machines. And so that's why it often doesn't work. So school is generally implemented to teach you to be part of a machine, to work for the machine,
Mm.
not to think for yourself,
Well,
not
yeah.
to make your own business. Why do you think even when you're in a business program in a college or university, the onus is not teaching you to start your own business. It's about working for someone else, hence being part
True.
of the machine.
Huh.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. All of us have worked for other people at one point.
That's right.
But the thing is that the system depends on people always being part of the machine. And so we're going to churn out cogs for the machine all the time. If I teach you to
Mm,
think critically, you're going to want to do your own thing. And that's not what we want. But this is why I like Gen Z so much. Lazy
mm.
as people may think they are, and some of them are.
But you can.
But
They're your students. Some of them are your students, right?
yeah, I have like all ranges of students because there's no such thing as a traditional student anymore. It's
Mm.
like everybody is a student, but a quote traditional age student, yeah, I do. So some of them, yeah, you are lazy, but then they also won't take the rubbish that
That's right.
that some
That
older
we took.
generations would at the
That
work.
we took.
Yeah. And we're like, yes, yeah, yes, sir. Yes,
No, they're not
no,
going
they're
for it.
like, they will quit with a post-it note on your computer screen and be okay with it.
It's the truth. I mean, younger people today do not put up with the BS of the institution. And they are wired because they've seen their parents get laid off. They've seen their parents that worked hard with the system and they got nothing for the system. And so they've learned to create their own ecosystems to make what they need to happen happen.
Yes. Yes. See, we
Yeah.
need more touch base dailies around the world. We need more of this.
Here's another subject. My prayers and thoughts. So I have friends that are in Iceland, and there's another eruption that took place this morning, and this one is really bad. So what's happening in Iceland is first of all, these eruptions are happening on the peninsula. For those that don't know, I had a chance to photograph the first eruption on the peninsula years ago in 2021, and that photo made it to the New Yorker, just trying to be there and get the story. But now there's been a series of other earthquakes that are closer to a town. But the eruption that took place this morning, is near what they call the pipelines, which heats the homes and gives them warm
Mm.
water. So, for those that don't know, Iceland is a thermal energy country. They don't use gas; they use thermal energy for their heating and for heating the water, heating, the homes. And so those are being threatened this morning, and so people are waking up to this morning to cold homes and no warm
Mm.
water. And so keep our prayers out there to the folks of Iceland, because I know it's still cold. It's still cold in Iceland.
Mm.
It is, even though it's February, so it's still winter. And but that's what's happening. The footage just came out this morning, so I think some photographers
Mm.
are heading out there to photograph, and some photographers are already there that live there are going to be photographing this event. It's pretty spectacular, visually to photograph, but it is also affecting the people.
Two questions. How far is the activity, the eruptive activity from Reykjavik, and how do they have a plan B? So obviously things like this can happen. So what is their plan B when these things happen?
Oh, that is so far Reykjavik has been in a good standing. It's about usually, I mean, Reykjavik is pretty much about an hour away from where these eruptions are taking place, so it's a
Okay.
good distance. But it also is determined about where the fissures are opening, where the lava comes out, and where it's flowing to, and that's all determined by the landscape. But so far Reykjavik is safe. However, I don't know. I just know that the town that I went to, I literally stopped in this town that you've probably seen in the news, where the streets are all cracked and everything is happening. That's where I stopped to get food and stuff before I did my hike up into the mountains to take the photos. That town is threatened because a lot of the lava flow is moving into that town. Some homes have already been lost from the last eruption that happened a couple of weeks ago. It was a small eruption, but this one seems to be a very big one that happened this morning.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm. Wow. It seems like you know when these things happen, but I mean that's home, but it's like, do you move? Do you rebuild again? What do you do? It's
Well,
really sad.
what's very interesting about, I mean, Iceland is known for its earthquakes and volcanoes, eruptions. It literally sits on a fault line. I should say it sits on the transition between two plates, the European plate and also the I should say, the North American continent. So the North American continent and the European continent are on plates, and they're spreading away from each other every year. So they spread. And as they are spreading, they open up the fault lines, and this is how the magnet from the Earth comes up, and looks for the path of least resistance, and it comes up to the Earth. But it is on Icelanders are used to earthquakes; they're used to volcanic eruptions, but this one happens to be near a town. And like I said, over the years, every 50 to 100 years, they've had towns that have been lost. People have been lost because of these eruptions. But this one seems to be, what they are doing is also relocating the people that were in this town, because there's no way to go through the roads, there's no way to move through, and so yeah, so you are most likely going to be relocated. And Icelanders
Mm,
the government is really good. It looks out for the people. Most of Europe is like that, where the people are definitely put first to see how they can, to create spaces for them or where they need to go. They're already on top of that kind of stuff. It's not,
great.
they're very proactive versus we are very reactive. They are proactive. So,
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's those are some of the things that we can learn from Europe because there are enough disasters here. It's like really we have the Red Cross and that's it, and they'll come and put blankets on your back and that's it, and wish you good luck when these things happen. So we need to be better about that.
yeah. So, here's something I wanted to talk about: cable versus streaming versus YouTube. First of all, I am curious how many people out there still have cable.
If
I
you'll
don't have
raise your
cable. I haven't had
hand,
cable. I haven't had cable since 2002. So I haven't had cable in 21 years. How many people still have cable? I am curious. Who has cable out there?
not me,
I don't have
but you
cable.
already knew that.
Who has cable? Okay. I don't see too many cable people on there yet. I see Bryson says he has streaming. He has streaming and live TV. Who else? Who else out there? Who else has? Anyone have cable? Okay, so how many of you get your programming from streaming, like Netflix, Hulu, Disney, uh, Tubi? Who else is out there? There's a bunch of them. Dr. Tachi, do you want to hear what I learned this weekend?
I need to know.
So I didn't. This really shocked me. First of all, I did not know that Fox owned Tubi.
Yes, 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 yes. That's a whole
And
other thing, but yes.
what I learned, someone said, Ron, I want to give you a warning. And I was like, what kind of warning? He says, you know, all the Fox BS that they do is financed by Tubi. And I said, wait, where are you going with this? They said Tubi is Fox's one, if not, it is their biggest moneymaker, and it's designed to have black television, most of black televisions on Tubi. It generates so much revenue for Fox that several big companies have tried to buy it from Fox, and Fox said, nada. It supports their business. It is one of the main pillars of their business model. Now, I know you're the media queen. I don't know this stuff like you know it, but
yeah,
I was shocked. I just learned this. I think it was Monday or Tuesday. What's the deal here?
Okay, so first of all, I think I've said this on here before, and I've definitely said this on my social channels and on Mediascope.
Yeah.
Whenever you want to know what's going on, follow the ownership trail. Like follow
Yeah.
the yellow brick road, follow the ownership trail. I think the majority of people did not know that Fox owns Tubi. And if you don't know, Fox, yes, Rupert Murdoch, the same people that have Fox
Let's
News,
talk about
although
that
there are
financing are against
subsidiaries.
Black people, but that
Yes,
station supports their business model.
absolutely. But why do you think? Okay, so, and this is no disrespect to anybody who has gotten a deal for distribution with Tubi, but if you notice, it is very, distribution is a very hard nut to crack. It's very difficult to get in and get your project on there, and everybody wants their project on TV, right? Everybody
Yeah.
wants that, but it's hard unless you know someone. It's very difficult. And even if you do, if they haven't worked with you before, please don't think you are going to get some sort of deal. I'm smashing your dreams now because I want you to be realistic and start to work on stuff for yourself. Too many people keep chasing after these networks and things that are never going to give them. I've seen it firsthand. For years, and I'm like, and you're still what? Produce it yourself, okay? So here's the thing, they see that, they're smart and they're savvy, they know that there are so many creators and producers that want to have their things seen, so now they've created an avenue for you to be able to do that. Now that doesn't
Yeah.
mean that everything on Tubi is like terrible and low rate, but if you look at some of the projects, I'm like, you couldn't have turned on a light when you shot, no, some of the things some of the things are not ready for prime time yet,
Yes.
so they give the we've seen some of these movies, right?
Yeah, we
some
see
are some are
some
good.
you're like this. Where's the mic?
Some of
Yes,
them I'm
yes.
just like,
Yes,
you knew this when you submitted it that it was like this, but
yes,
it doesn't matter if it is going to make them money. And
yes,
so they will take and accept some of these things. Now there is a minimum standards acceptability. You would think, but they'll take it and then they'll use that to make money to fund other things. So it's very profitable, especially when you have masses of creators that really want to see their things uh, distributed on a wider scale.
yeah,
They'll do it, and everybody else will. These are the projects that are not going to get on Netflix, and I'm not trying to be funny, but they will
right.
not. If you look at the production quality, if you look at some of the acting, they are not going to be put on Netflix, and that doesn't mean Netflix's stuff is all great. No, I'm not
Yes,
saying that, but some of these things are like, you could see the way they're shot. Okay, so all you have to do, go to Netflix and look up acceptable cameras for Netflix. What cameras can you
Mm,
use for Netflix? And this is actually on Netflix's site. There is a whole list of cameras, the only cameras that you can use that are acceptable to shoot a Netflix production.
interesting.
Most of them are very expensive, but there are two that are affordable. One of them, which is my dream camera, is the Panasonic Lumix SH1
Hmm.
because it has the codecs that will allow you to shoot high quality video. And I mean, there's so many high quality, but not all of them are acceptable for Netflix. So that's actually what I use as my standard for if Netflix will accept it for production. All right, that means it's a great camera. That doesn't mean there are
Mm,
not other good cameras, but if you are looking to get something professionally accepted, look to that list and see what you
mm,
can do. The last two on there are more affordable. The SH1, I think, is about $3,000, which for
hmm.
a cinema camera is extremely affordable. And so
Wow.
yeah, so that's just a tip. If you're looking to do some high quality
You know,
production,
it's
go
interesting
look
that
up
you
that
bring that
list.
up. That you bring that up because I'm going to do a project with for a documentary, and they wanted to know my cameras. They wanted to know my camera, the mix of my cameras, my lenses. They wanted a list. And I remember this is the second time this has ever happened in my career, but um, for this documentary, they wanted to know all these things about all the stuff that I was going to be using for the documentary. Interesting. It's interesting that Netflix has the same for film. They have the
Mhm.
same kind of listing that are required for that production.
Mhm.
Interesting.
And they tell you what, speeds you have to shoot at and all of that. And
Mm,
I've done projects before where, I was hired to do, interview for someone, and they said, "All right, well, this is what you have, the speed you need to shoot at. This is the, what you need to shoot at. This is the codec it needs to be in." And so
yeah.
as long as your cameras can do that, that's fine. But Netflix has very specific standards for what cameras can be used. So it doesn't mean that's an end all be all because there are other great cameras, but you can use that as a starting place for what will work.
Wow. This is something I learned also this week. I've been see YouTube has really got me kind of like being in the YouTube space has obviously me. I'm a rabbit hole. I just dig down rabbit holes. So I'm now learning a lot about YouTube,
Mm.
and I'm looking at the progression, and I'm glad that I'm intuitively wired to try to be ahead of the trend or near the trend or on the trend versus behind the trend. And I'm now obviously I'm making this. I made the move to YouTube,
Yes.
and I've been learning a lot of data about YouTube and how they are expecting, like right now, it's something like I think it's 1 point something billion people watch YouTube, which is shocking to me. And they were saying by 2027, it could double. It could double to 2 point something, I think 2.6, something like that. Billion people
Yes.
will be
Yes.
watching YouTube. So when you made your question, could you put out your question that you had out yesterday on your feed? You said you were talking about Monique's. Mo was having this interview and having her moment with what's his name,
Shannon Sharp.
Shannon Sharp,
Yeah.
and we were thinking about where we get our information from. Where are people now getting where do people live for entertainment? Where do people live for um and I know for myself, I remember years ago before 2002, cable was where I lived. Then I went to streaming. I started streaming as soon as streaming came out. I was like, I gotta have HBO. I gotta have Netflix. I gotta have. I think it was Netflix, HBO, Hulu came later, and it was Showtime. I mean, they were all in streaming,
Mhm. Mhm.
and there were a couple of other little streamers. And now
Yes.
what's happening in the streaming industry, I responded to your post. I was one of those who that responded. And because you made me sit down and think that yesterday. You
Oh.
made me actually pause, park my butt on the sofa, and think about what you were just talking about. And I was like, and I don't usually do long responses, but I did a long response. And I
Okay, I have to
noticed
look
the
for it.
trend that people, they say cable is going up in price because people are leaving cable. There are less people looking at cable, so they have to still meet the bottom line. So they have to raise the price to accommodate what they are offering. But then people have moved to streaming. Now streaming is starting to raise their prices all over the place. And then in streaming, the big networks are putting all of their main stuff on streaming and jacking the price. So a lot of people are leaving streaming, which was shocking to me. That they're saying, wait a minute, I'm not paying all these big. And they said that statistically, when people add up what they're using in streaming, now equals the bills that they had in cable. But they said people are also leaving streaming and now moving to YouTube, to personal small entities like ourselves. Like me being here, there's 17 people in the room. That means that's 17 people that are not looking at CNN.
Yes.
Go for it, my dear.
Yes. So, okay, absolutely.
What are
Let's
your
go back
thoughts?
to the case. Oh, so many, mon frere, so many, mon frere. So let's go back to the whole cable thing. Cable uses, first of all, it's extraordinarily expensive, but for the longest time, that was the only choice if we wanted something outside of over the air broadcast programming. It was
Mhm.
cable, and there was no other choice. So they had it on lock. And so the only thing you would do is just watch 2, 4, 6, 8 if you had nothing, no other choice. But they're based on old technology. So for those of you that did not know, cable was not meant necessarily initially to be what cable is now, right? Or in modern times. Cable was invented to take broadcast signals out to rural areas because they could not pick them up over the
Mm.
air. And so that's what it is. And what they do is they use, and I'm sure you've seen the cables, that's coaxial cable.
Yes,
And
coaxial.
coaxial cable, yes, you know this, Mr.
Techie.
Engineer. Yes. So coaxial cable has smaller bundles of wires inside, and
Yeah.
they're copper. But copper doesn't stretch very far. It stretches, but not so far. What stretches farther than copper? Gold. But gold is expensive. So the thing is, in order to have the signals, you need a whole lot of different wires inside that coaxial cable. And so
Yeah.
it's actually an older technology and not
Mm.
as great as some of the newer technologies, right? So what
Right.
what you're watching when you're talking about cable is an older technology. On top of that, you get cable, HBO 1, HBO 2, HBO 3, HBO 4, a whole bunch of nothingness,
Yeah.
soliloquies of nothing, and vast amounts of channels that don't really have anything. They replay a lot of things, and I'm sure you've seen the trend now where
Mhm.
there's this whole not just replays, but like back to back to back of the same shows. So you see a lot of that. So you've got all of this space. And at one point, there were people were looking, they're still looking for content, but all of these cable channels were really looking for content because they had all of these different sub channels that they needed
Mm.
to fill with content, right? But
Mm.
then enter Netflix, enter all these streamers that come and encourage cord cutting, where I don't have to have you and have all these channels. I can have just what I want. And for a while that was
Sitting
fine
right here.
until then everybody decided we want to have a streamer too. What we're going to do is when our licensing deal ends with Netflix, we're taking back everything Marvel, we're taking back, start talking
Yes,
about
that's what's been happening.
Disney, we're talking about Star Wars, we're taking
Yes.
back all of. And so you started to notice, I was hurt when Luke Cage was canceled.
Oh,
I was hurt when
Luke
Jessica Jones was
Cage.
canceled. I
Yes.
loved Luke Cage. Okay, I loved all of the. I guess they're called the Avengers, right?
The Avengers, the Marvels.
The Marvel, yeah, the Avengers. I loved all of them. Because I'm more of a Marvel person than a
Yeah,
DC person. So I
same here.
love them. But they started taking all their properties back.
Yeah,
Now there's a reversal now.
yep, there
They
is.
start taking them back, but they've already said they are going to, Bob Iger said they are going to start to put some things back on Netflix. So and I told you all this. I said,
You
yeah, it's
did.
not going to last. They're going to start to, because there's money to be made off of licensing. Why would you block more money? It's stupid to pull everything. And so you're
Mm,
going to see some things back, but not like big legacy things, I think. So, okay, that's cable. I wanted to go over that. What I asked is, are we the new networks? With Club Shay Shay yesterday, and that whole, I watched the entire thing because I'm like, if this is what I talk about and teach, I need to watch it.
yeah,
On top of the fact that it was just bloody interesting. I
yes,
was like, let me see what's what with this. At the time I posted, there were 116,000 people watching live.
mm,
Okay. Now
mm.
that may not seem like huge numbers
That's
compared to
huge.
network, etc., but it is huge for this space. But by the
Yes.
time I finished posting, it was up to 127, I believe, thousand people. And I haven't
Mm,
looked to see what the numbers are for the replay and how many
mm.
have watched it so far. But somebody can probably look and see that.
Yeah.
But what I said is this is bigger than Monique. This is bigger than Cat Williams. This is bigger than Steve Harvey and anybody else he's had on there. What
Yeah.
this says is that you can reach your audience directly without going through an intermediary and monetize. Do you know how much
Yes.
money he's going to make off of this? And that's
Yes.
why YouTube is the thing, because YouTube has all this advertising in place. You can't, unless you're subscribed to YouTube Premium, you can't get through a YouTube video without having a good 8 uh, ads that play,
Mm.
right? But I'm okay with that if it means that the creators are getting some of it. But they're making a lot. YouTube is making a lot of money off of this. So if I don't need a network to get advertisers because I go directly to them, if I don't need you to make a deal for me because I can create my own, what do I need you for? So that's why I asked, are we the new networks?
Yes. And you want to hear the number for Monique's on Hollywood
I
Club
do.
Shay?
I
It is
do.
now it is now trending at 3.9 million views
You see
in
this?
one day.
In one day.
3.9 million at this moment.
What
It's
show do you know that gets 3.9 million of anything? Let's look at the Grammys. How many people watch that?
it's right. It's right on TV.
Exactly. And what they need.
3.9 million. So Shay Shay, am I
Mhm.
saying it right?
Yeah, Club Shay Shay.
Club Shay Shay. He's had several powerful interviews over the last 2 months. I mean, he is like rolling it in. But I did read that YouTube people are now interested in they're not they're all because corporate America, for instance, I follow Native Land Podcast, which is three
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
two
good.
amazing black women, two women that were amazing anchors on MSNBC, CNN, and then you have Andrew Gulliman, who was the running for governor of Florida,
Florida. Hmm.
and they have also done an amazing job in just a couple of weeks of well, now about 2 months now they've been on. Oh, maybe a month, maybe it's a month and a half. But like they were saying on one of their broadcasts, is that networks like CNN, MSNBC don't want to tell our stories. When I
No.
say our stories, that's black and brown stories. People, they don't want to tell our stories. Like they want to get hung up on Trump. They want to get hung up on all the fanfare information. But you have these amazing journalists, black, Spanish, Asian, all the people of color. These people want to share their communities. They want to talk about their communities. They want to bring highlights about how they can better their communities. And the networks handcuff them. So now they've gone to YouTube. And I'm
Yes.
seeing so many folks moving into the YouTube space. And then someone said, oh, you would think, the gentleman was saying yesterday, he goes, I have a video on how to use YouTube. Well, you would think there would be enough videos on how to use YouTube. But he says, guess what? There's 1 billion people watching. And your tribe is going to find you, and you will find your tribe on YouTube.
Can I
And
say something
build
really
your
quick to that?
business.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. No, I don't want to interrupt, but
No,
the finding is the key thing that you said there. Search and discovery. Who owns YouTube? Google. YouTube
Google.
is the second largest search engine.
Yes,
Okay.
in the world.
Google is number one in the world. Google is number one. YouTube is number two because it's
Yes.
owned by Google. And so the
Yes.
thing is, if you put the key, this is why it's good to understand keywords and good to understand SEO, because if you put in your descriptions and in your title the things that people are searching for, you are going to pop up. You don't get that with Facebook. You don't get that with Instagram. You don't get that with TikTok. You get that with YouTube. And yes, is it an uphill battle to really gain wings?
Yes.
Sometimes. But I've sat here and watched you, Ron. Have you looked at your numbers? Every day I'm coming to watch Touch Space Daily, it's like 10 more people have started to become your subscribers.
But not only that, I'm really shocked at where I've been doing this now for literally 1 month, less than 28 days, because that's where they give me my stats here on YouTube. I'm so glad that I have folks that push me to do this, because my stats here I just couldn't believe it. I was like, whoa, this is pretty interesting stuff. I'm a numbers person. It's my Wall Street background. I am an analytical person. I look at stats and it says here, your channel got 1,059 views in the last 28 days.
Do you see this? And for some people, that may be like, for bigger people, it may be like not great, but that is fantastic, because when you look at especially what some of the smaller and like you are a nano influencer, right? When you look at what some of the nano influencers are doing,
nano.
Oh, you're dating yourself, Ron. Great. And what some of the micro influencers are doing. So, for example, me, I don't have like tens of thousands of people following, but what I do know is when I say something, the feed blows up. I get engaged. And that is what matters. It's not the numbers, because there are some people that have like 75,000 people following and only like 100 people ever comment. Is that good? It's nice, but if you're looking at it engagement wise, it's not the same as what you and I are doing. It's way more. We're doing way more comparatively.
Yeah.
So not to shame.
It's quite shocking. First of all, I've never got that reach on Instagram. I mean,
no, you won't.
I mean, I do get reach, but I'm like, whoa, look at this. And then obviously it says how 75 people have subscribed in the last 28 days. I'm finding this a whole world of YouTube very fascinating. And when I'm a person with, my mind is geared around numbers. I like analyzing numbers and data. And so seeing this, it's been well, I have to say, it's been gratifying. it's like I'm like, and like, for instance, Amparo's interview got like 100 views, but it was not just views. It was, so many people interacted with Amparo's video and her interview with me. However, I did learn I'm going to do some things with changing my titles so that my titles do well on the SEOs. But it's really interesting how YouTube, and I'm looking at Shasha's Shay Shay, or supposed to say Shay Shay, channel, and a bunch of others. Like, it is amazing. I do believe there is a trend moving towards YouTube. I live on YouTube more. I don't look at anything else but on YouTube.
I'm on YouTube all
MSNBC,
day, basically.
CNN, AP News. I listen to so much. I get all my data information from YouTube.
And you know, the interesting thing, I think that people have to understand what they have in YouTube, because the reason that cable and networks and streaming, the larger ones, keep their position is because people ascribe more importance to them than they actually do. And so
Mm,
even some of these YouTubers that have a lot of people on there now, here's the thing, I'm not saying anything against the other, like the bigger networks or whatever. I think there's room in the space for everyone to exist,
everyone.
and
Yes.
it's great. But
Yes.
I think that people, especially, you know, YouTubers, I keep hearing them, and I keep hearing people making comments like, oh yeah, because I want to get on such and such show, I want to do that's nice, but do you know how many people you have following you here?
Mm,
Can you leverage that?
mm.
But so people don't see, some people don't see YouTube and these other platforms as worthy in and of themselves. They look at them as stepping stones to get someplace else. That someplace else may not want you, Sister
That's
Slay,
right. That's
may
right.
not want you, Prayer Rabbit. Okay, so you have to
Yes.
you have to look at what you have and how can I do. And when you're on YouTube, you basically have the opportunity to build what you want. You have the opportunity to get the advertisers you want. So yeah, they have advertising there, but you can get your own advertisers. The
Yes.
thing is,
Yes.
many people don't want to do the work of
It's
what
work. It's
they
work.
it's work.
I
It's
spend
work.
more. I have to dedicate more hours. Like, for instance, when I was on Instagram, just Instagram, it requires me, after getting off, I would have to do my description, all that stuff, prepping for the week, prepping for the month, trying to get ahead of it. My coaches, my co-workers are saying, get ahead and try to get your work out there so people know, so it's part of the notification. This has been a journey, and I'm like, I'm just starting, and I'm like, I'm having a good time. But we're gonna have to end it here because it's already 12:23. We went
Oh, wow.
overtime.
Oh,
This is
wow.
I did want to show, for the photographer lovers out there, a new source. If you have not had the opportunity to do this source, if you love photography, here's a new source for you. And before we head out, I want to share this with you. It's called AP, which is Associated Press, apnews.com/photography. And if you want to get your news and photography at the same time, go through the photography section on Associated Press, which is AP News. And they literally have photography of the week, photos of the week, photos of such and such, photos in time, photo celebration. All of this photography, here's photos of the week. If you love photography, check out AP News and .com/photography. And I think you will be rewarded greatly. And not only would you get photography, you'll be getting your news at the same time. So you'll be well informed. And I love it. And I said, you know what? Let me tell the folks about this. And it's absolutely beautiful to me. I love it. I love the photos that they have. I love that you can just go in and click on them, pop them on, and then just stream through. And it's just absolutely wonderful. So if you have not done that, if you didn't know that, now you know. You're in the know. Check it out. apnews.com/photography. Okay?
Good stuff.
Okay. Dr. Tachi, I'm so glad you joined me today.
Thank you for having me. This was fun as usual. I'm always down to come on Touch Base Daily.
We are a great team. I just love it.
Yes.
I just love it when we're together.
Ah,
You are just we have you know what it is? We have great people in this community. And I think,
yes.
but I would say a quarter of the people in this community I could call and say, would you want to come on live? And they would just highlight. But I knew this subject was your baby. I was like, wait, when I saw
Mhm.
your, I was like, oh yes, let me reach out to Dr. Tachi, because I knew, talking about cable versus streaming versus YouTube, this is your baby. This is what you did.
Yes.
And so thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us today. I think some folks walked away with some knowledge, some gems. And well, tomorrow we have what's tomorrow? Tomorrow is Friday, is our Focus Friday. And I do believe Elise will be with us tomorrow. So
Yay.
we'll be talking, just different videos, Instagram, Focus Friday, as we normally do. We'll be focusing on YouTube channels that we love, and we will focus on the Instagram stuff, Instagram places that we love. Okay, guys. If you're in Brooklyn and you want to go to the gallery, gallery today, Thursday is my gallery hopping night. I am going to be at the Brooklyn Museum this evening, this late afternoon, to see the Spike Lee This is the last week for the Spike Lee exhibition. So I will be there this evening to get a glimpse of it, because midweek is the best time to go to the museum for me. So Thursday night is museum and gallery night. So I'm back into the swing of things. I will be at the Brooklyn Museum. If you want to meet me there, I will be there around 3:00, and we can see the exhibition together. Okay, so I think we have it. Are we ready to get out of here, Dr. Tachi?
I no, but I will, because you're ready to get out of here.
Wait. You know what? Also, when's your next Mediascope?
Mediascope? Yeah, sometime.
Okay, you working on it. Okay, you're still
Yeah,
working
I'm
on it.
working on it. Yeah, it will be this month probably, but
Okay.
I'm still trying to get stuff together with Indie Soup and whatever. So
Indie
I'm
soup.
like, let me take a break for for a little bit. But you see, I'm still posting stuff. I'm
No,
still
and
putting
you are
things up.
working.
I'm
You're
still
doing
trying to
your
be more.
thing.
Yeah. So no, but we'll come back soon, because season 9 starts soon.
So guys, subscribe to this channel and subscribe to Mediascope, and make sure you like us. Make sure you hit the likes, and make sure you comment. Put some comments in the comment boxes. Come on, y'all. I know y'all got a lot to say. Put some comments in the comment boxes. And guys, we're out of here. Later.